The hardest part about being mentally ill and trying to keep employment, I think, is the morning time, the hustle and bustle of the mornings. It's something that I really wanted to discuss while it's fresh in my head. Every job starts off with huge panic and worry for me. I want to do a good job. I don't want to disappoint anyone. A lot of jobs cut corners and they don't follow guidelines. They don't give you the proper training. Like, that's not too much to ask for. And I find as it goes on, like I just remember being miserable in the mornings. Getting on a packed bus or a packed Lewis, and you could say to yourself, "Alright, we'll drive then," and you go, "Yeah, but then I'd be stuck in traffic the exact same way." Only difference is I have to actually fucking pay for that car and pay to insure it, and it probably would be even less worth my while. At least getting the free public transport in, I don't have to pay for that. And I get everybody has to do it. Look, everybody does. That's fair enough, but I'm not talking about everyone. I'm talking about me. And I know mentally ill people struggle with the mornings, especially with medication. I don't think people appreciate that enough. That it's very difficult to get up and out of bed when you're on antidepressants or antipsychotics. Um, and I found myself just miserable, thinking, "Oh fuck, I have to get from here, from Dublin city centre out to Meath, and and then even down here, getting up and cycling to and from work locally takes me a while to get warmed up and ready to do things. You keep saying it's going to get easier, and it just doesn't. You keep saying it. I'm not a bad worker, like I will work hard, but I don't think people appreciate when you're mentally ill how hard the mornings are, how difficult it is to get in on time. When you're anxious as well, you're thinking of all the negative shit that could go wrong. And just think, like, "Oh, what the fuck am I doing with myself?" I can't wait to leave. Then you leave and you're sitting around thinking, and you feel terrible about that. Um, what career path do I want to go down? I don't know. Um, the hustle and bustle of getting in, and then when the day comes to an end, the hustle and bustle of getting back. Like, you're up early, then you're in work, then the day goes by, you get your lunch, you do all that shit, and then try and go to the gym, try and be healthy like I was doing, and I'm still quite well in that regard. Something just comes though, like with autism, and the desire leaves, the motivation leaves. I can't tell you the amount of jobs that I've started and looked good, and then start looking a bit shabby, not looking after myself, looking a bit overweight, facial hair is a bit mad looking. Kind of trimming this now, so keeping it looking good. I've always wanted a proper beard, but I mean, like, one that's 5 o'clock shadow. But looking back, like, I did start off being motivated. I was like, yeah, I want to do this, but then just interpersonal relationships can be tough. Read into someone too much, and I think, "Oh, what do they mean by that?" Or trying to build up a work relationship, but maybe overstepping the mark. Um, Looking a bit odd, you know, maybe taking a while to be shown something, but then I get the hang of it, and then I'm like, "Yep, can do it." But there'd be a lot of times where you look competent, and then they go, "Oh, you can do this as well. You can do that." And I go, "Oh, more stuff, brilliant." But mornings are tough. The grogginess, and then trying to get a breakfast down, you just didn't really work for me. So I kind of like to fast when I'm in early. Not eat first thing in the morning. Get your caffeine into you, and off you go. Um, but I always end up burning myself out. Overdoing it, just burning myself into the ground, thinking I'm doing everything. I'm training, I'm working, looking after myself, getting out for a walk, I'm doing all this stuff. Then I come crashing down. There's always a burnout. There's always a fall from grace, if you like. The mornings, like, trying to find the motivation to get out of bed, and then you might not have slept very well the night before, and it's gonna be tough. And then just trying to get up and out. I find I delay so much time. Um, I waste a lot of time and I procrastinate in the mornings, which I'm getting better at now. But yeah, I do struggle with that. Um, Trying to be excited and motivated by a career. It's hard because I don't really know what field I want to go into. I'm very unsure about that, so I don't know. Um, the hustle and bustle of the daily grind. People telling you just gotta work harder than the other guy. As I've talked about, that's a fucking load of bullshit. Everybody likes to tell you that they've worked harder than you and that's why they're successful. Not the case. Not the case, and that's what I find. They feed you a lie, and you'll see it a lot in the fitness industry where they tell you how hard they work, but they're all taking anabolic steroids. To quote, not to quote, but well, actually, yeah, it's a quote from a guy from Soft White Underbelly, bodybuilder that was talking, and he was very open and honest. In fairness to him, looks a bit like your man Elliot Holtz. Nico was his name. Check him out. I was refreshed to hear how transparent he is, but he was talking about it and saying everybody's on steroids. 90% of people in the gym, at least in the US, are on steroids. Um, and gives you quicker recovery. You can do more work. You can work hard because it actually gives you benefits. Whereas if you were to train that hard, naturally you'd burn yourself into the ground. And then, like, career wise, people, like, I was watching Stephen Bartlett and Simon Sinek, someone who I kind of like, but I kind of thought they were talking shite in this regard because I thought to myself, they obviously want you to do overtime and all this stuff. They want you to do that. They're kind of saying like modern people don't have good work ethic. Young people like Gen Z, my generation, for my sins, they're not very resilient. They're the least resilient generation. But ask yourself why. If you don't feel valued in a company, why would you work hard in that company? I'm just saying that, you have to feel valued. Barack Obama was doing a very interesting series where a cleaner had been employed for 30 years. She got a good pension, she was valued, she felt worthy, she got promotions, she had a really good salary, and she was a member of that company. She was a valued employee. So she loved it and felt worthy, felt worthwhile, felt like what she was doing was important. Now you get contractors in who don't give a shit, and if you don't do a good job, they'll just get somebody cheaper in to do it. If you don't like it, but you're doing a good job and you demand more money, fuck it, we'll get somebody else in if you don't like it, you know. They don't give a shit about the job because they don't like the people they're working for. They don't do a good job, and that's that, there's no job satisfaction. And I feel like a lot of times the more you go above and beyond for people, the more they take advantage of that, because especially as they say, Gen Zers are less resilient, which they are. That's definitely true. They all think they can be the CEO of the company without putting in the hard work. But a lot of these people who are saying, oh, you should all go into the trades and all this stuff, didn't do it themselves. And then people who actually worked in trades tell you things you should consider. It's not for everybody. You've got to be tough. You got to like working with your hands. You got to start early mornings. You might start at 7 in the morning, not get home till 7 at night. So be prepared. And the fuckers telling you that you have to go and do it are the ones who haven't done it themselves. A lot of times, they're full of shit. They need someone to build their houses. Edwina Curry was talking about that, actually, the politician in Britain, saying, oh, young people getting these ridiculous degrees, they should go and get a trade and contribute to society. I'm paraphrasing now, but she said something along those lines. She got a fucking arts degree, like a philosophy degree or something like that. You're full of shit, What they want is someone to build their future home. They don't want to do it themselves. South Park did a really good piss take of it where they talk about nobody knows how to do anything anymore. So the handyman is multi is a multi-millionaire going into space. Like they kind of did a piss take of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and it was very funny because people now have to do fuck all now because they're not don't value trades. They were told to go to college. I was told to go to college, and everybody told me to do that. My dad said be an instrument technician and don't waste your time in college. I could walk into a job as an instrument technician now, um, but you don't make an awful lot of money unless you specialise in something. So it wasn't the be all and end all, like my dad said. Um, yeah, you go in and you think to yourself, you've got this ideal approach, but rarely does it work out that way. You know, and I know you're never going to have the perfect job, and I'm not looking for the perfect job, but I'm looking for one where the lad doesn't swear down the phone at me in the interview process, and that I don't have to start as soon as I get there with very little training. You know, that would be ideal. Because I am the type that goes, I'm employed to do this, so I'll just fucking do it. Yeah, I find it hard to stay motivated in jobs like that, especially. So screw it, I'll just keep sending out the CVs and see what happens. Um, I'm hoping that I can just get a grip on this and I'll be up and motivated in the morning and back in the workforce. But there's a whole factor of things, like when you're mentally ill, that you have to consider. Do you end up in the same position again because you burnt yourself out doing too much, which I always do, and I don't learn, do I? Just really don't want to make the same mistakes again. And getting up miserable and dragging myself in, and no, um, I think I'm going about it the right way, building up more resilience and more skills, um, discovering way more about myself, which is important, and I advise everybody to do the same thing. Know your own self worth, guys. Work on yourself. Get that confidence up. Don't tolerate shit. Um, if someone would go above and beyond for you, go above and beyond for them. But otherwise, don't. Don't give your time to people who just will use and abuse you. Because you'll find yourself miserable, dragging your arse out of bed. For the hustle and bustle of the grind, the rat race as they call it. Trying to one up everybody, and it seems to be making everybody fucking miserable, not just me. I guess I've just noticed it, and I'm trying to get better and heal from it. But guys, stay well, look after yourselves, and I hope you get something from these. Ta ta for now.